Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I set up my watercolor palette. So I'm using all Daniel Smith paints and then this watercolor pan that holds 48 colors that I purchased on Amazon. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start, I wrote the names of each of the colors on the individual pans themselves so that in the event that they get misplaced or moved around, I'll always know what color it was. And then I'm going to take the individual tubes of paint and just kind of squirt them in each little pan following rainbow order. To decide what colors to use, I did a lot of research. So I started with this swatch sample. So that is a watercolor card that you can purchase from Daniel Smith that will show you all of the colors that they have. The card that I had, I purchased a couple of years ago, so it was a little bit outdated, and there have been some new colors added. So wherever there were new colors that I was aware of, I just kind of swatched them in myself on the sides. I also watched a bunch of other videos by other watercolor artists to see how they set up their palettes and what colors that they suggested. And in the end, I decided that the 48 colors that you're going to see here were the ones that worked best for me, given the types of artwork and the types of colors that I use in my other artwork. So you're going to see that my palette is really heavy on earth tone colors. You're going to see lots of greens. I have some really, really moody dark blues. I love dark blue. I use it in a lot of my works, especially landscapes and night skies. And then we're going to see not that many reds and pinks because my view on reds are that once I find one that I kind of like, I stick in that range. So with my Copic markers, there's really maybe just 4 or 5 reds that I kind of go to again and again. I also know that I like to get nice peachy red colors, so I'll be able to do that by combining some of the reds and yellows here. I also included some Payne's gray, some Payne's blue gray, and some lunar black, just again because I really like those dark, cool gray blue colors. So one of the interesting things I learned while going through this process of researching the different Daniel Smith's paints is that there are some colors that are made of ground up gemstones or semi-precious stones. And we're going to get to one of those in a second. So Sleeping Beauty Turquoise is one of those colors. And what they do is they take the turquoise from the Sleeping Beauty mine, here it is right here, and they will grind it up into a pigment. And there is an amethyst by Daniel Smith that is also ground up amethyst. And there is a kyanite. I think I poured that a little while ago. A sugilite, which is this really, really beautiful sparkly color. There is a jade. I think there's like 38 or 48 colors total that are made from ground up pigments. There are also some colors that are made of ground up rocks from some beautiful areas of the world. So there's a Sedona color that's like a reddish brown that is made of the rocks from Sedona. So it's just kind of a really, really cool way to make pigments, I think. And as I was coloring, it was really fun to imagine that, I was coloring with all these precious gems as I was going along. So let's get to the swatch guide now. So I learned this trick from watching Sandy Allnock. So what she does is she cuts out a piece of watercolor paper. This is Arch's cold press paper that I'm using here because this is the paper that I intend to use most often in my watercoloring because it's a good grade of paper and it holds up well with watercolor. And then you just kind of make this grid that mirrors the placement of your tins in the pan. And then we're going to swatch everything out. And then once it dries, we're going to write the name of the paint on top of the color. So you have this like nice handy guide that travels with you. That's part of the case. so that you always know what the colors are. And then at the end, we're going to cover this watercolor panel with some just clear packing tape so that the colors will be preserved so that they won't get wet when you close the pan. So I thought that was a really, really clever way to, store your watercolors to make them easier to use. So let's kind of take a look at the different colors that I am laying down here. So this color is Quinacridone Gold. And this color, what I learned about this color, interestingly enough, is that the original pigment was used for cars. So there are a number of different pigments that came into being because they are the colors that car manufacturers want to use. And then a few years ago, I guess there is less demand for gold colored cars. If you look on the highways in the US now, all the cars are, white or black or silver or gray. I myself have a white car, so there's not much color going on there. But anyway, the auto manufacturers didn't need the color anymore, so the pigment was discontinued, and then Daniel Smith had to change the formula of the color, and they did so by combining like two or three different pigments, I think, and it caused quite the uproar. So I learned from YouTube by artists who were used to that original quinacridone gold. So I'm having a lot of fun, not just playing with the colors, but also researching them and learning what other artists' favorites are, and all the different controversies surrounding color. So another controversy that you might find with watercolors is that whether or not the paints and the pigments are environmentally friendly. So for Daniel Smith, all of the colors that they have are environmentally friendly. One example of that is the brown iron oxide, which is that color all the way at the top in the second row from the right there. So that is environmentally friendly brown iron oxide. So you don't have to worry about buying any toxic chemicals when you use these paints or inhaling them, or, like putting dirty water down the drain that might have toxic chemicals in it. So that's another thing that I like about these paints. So this color that I just swatched is a new color. It's called Wisteria, and I thought that would be really, really pretty for watercolor florals. This color is Rose of Ultramarine, and I purchased this one on the recommendation of some other artists. And then this next color, Carbazole Violet, I just fell in love when I did the swatch. And when I did my swatch card with those 238 colors, I followed along with another artist who she has 2 videos. They're about 4 hours long total, and she swatches all of the colors from the Daniel Smith cards and tells you about each color and which pigments are used in each color, so that if a paint only has one pigment in it, then it means it's going to be difficult to recreate that color. But if a paint has 2 or 3 different colors to it, then as long as you buy the paints that have that one pigment and you put them together, you can mix your own. So it's a good guide to know, especially if you don't want to buy a lot of colors, like what are the colors that you absolutely need, because you won't be able to duplicate them elsewhere. So for me, I decided that I'm kind of new to watercolor, and I didn't want to have to mess around too much with mixing colors and figuring that out. I also thought that might slow me down in the beginning. So I just purchased the colors that I thought would work best so that I don't have to worry about mixing them. And then as I get more proficient in it and I am more comfortable and used to mixing, then I can mix them and then I don't have to worry about buying them. So this color I'm swatching here is my absolute favorite. That was Mayan Dark Blue. And between Mayan Dark Blue and Payne's Gray Blue, I am just in love. They're these beautiful, beautiful blue, gray, deep colors. This blue here is ultramarine blue. So it's a good staple to have. You can mix it with other colors to get some other fun shades as well. This next color is Cerulean Blue, and I think this will be nice for skies. I use this in a winter night scene that I'll publish that tutorial right after this video. This blue is iridescent electric blue. So it's kind of a funky color. It looks like, I don't know, like turquoise spandex pants when you squeeze it out of the tube. And I bought that on the recommendation of Sandy Allnock. It's one of the colors she has in her palette, as is this Cobalt Teal Blue. From Cobalt Coloring, I know that I love my turquoise and my teal, so I made sure to get a bunch of those. This is Phthalo Turquoise. So when I look at this color, I just think of like deep ocean, like underwater scenes. This color is Sleeping Beauty Turquoise. So this is one of those colors that's made of ground up gemstones from the Sleeping Beauty mine in Arizona. This color here is Hooker's Green. I purchased this color on the recommendation of another watercolor artist who uses this often, and it's also really the only pure bright green that I'm going to have in my palette. From Cobalt Coloring, I know I don't use this color a lot, but kind of when you need it, it's just good to have it. This is Sap Green. I think this is going to be a staple for me. I just love this color. I think it'll be great for florals, great for landscapes, etc. Serpentine Green is another Primatech color. The Primatech colors are those colors that are made of ground up minerals or gemstones or semi-precious stones. This is Green Apatite. And this is also another color that's made of ground up gemstones. So it's just really, really cool to be able to make color that way. This color is Deep Sap Green, and I love this. I've already been using it pretty extensively. So it's another great color for landscapes, for florals, for underwater scenes. And then Perylene Green is probably my favorite green of all right now, and that's this color here. I used this color in a night sky scene for the trees that I'm going to post after this video. This is Undersea Green, another pretty kind of dark olive yellow-green color. And then this is Olive Green. This one I purchased on my own, not recommended by anyone. Not sure how I feel about it. It's kind of close to the other colors I have, but we'll try to play around with it and get some use out of it. This is Green Gold. This was highly recommended by a lot of the watercolor artists that I watched while I was researching, trying to figure out what colors to get for my palette. And now we're going to move into our darker shades. So this is Bloodstone. This is another Primatech color made from ground up bloodstone rock. This is Payne's Gray. This is a staple, I think, on any palette. It's just great for skies, great for clouds. Just a beautiful, beautiful color. It's a good neutralizing color as well. This is Payne's Blue Gray. This is next to the Mayan Dark Blue, one of my favorite colors. I just love all the different shades that you can get from dark to light. It's just such a moody, beautiful color. This is Neutral Tint. This is kind of a workhorse of a color. So this is going to help knock down the intensity or make darker any colors that you already have. So in my night scene, you're going to see that I used it to darken my brown trees. And then that last color is Lunar Black, which is a combination of a couple of pigments, but I thought it would be fun to have in the palette. So these are my colors, everyone. I hope that you found this video useful, and I hope it gives you some ideas on how to set up your own palettes. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon in the next video.